Our project is to get to know and compare our two 2020 presidential candidates, Trump and Biden.
Trump is very against illegal immigration and very pro-border security. He wants to build a border wall and remove all unlawful entrants, protect all undocumented members of U.S. armed services from deportation, and he said a responsible approach to refugees is one that seeks the eventual return to their home country so that they can help rebuild their own nations. Trump is a climate policy skeptic. He wants to rescind all the job-destroying Obama executive actions, including the Climate Action Plan. He questions the science of climate change and doubts whether humans are responsible. He said the Paris Climate Agreement disadvantages the United States, leaving American workers who love and taxpayers to absorb the cost. He approved the infrastructure and provided resources needed to unleash oil and gas production in the U.S. Trump is very for protecting the Second Amendment. He said the Second Amendment to our Constitution is clear. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed upon. He believes in the right to self-defense. He thinks concealed carry permits should be valid in all 50 states. He said, so long as I am your president, I will always protect your Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. He's also said a teacher would have a concealed gun on them and you would no longer have to have a gun-free zone. When it comes to foreign policy, Trump is working to restore America's prominence in the global diplomacy. He is renegotiating U.S. trade deals and feuding with U.S. allies. He is following through on his promise and taking a decisive step to achieve negotiated peace in Afghanistan, and he has attended the opening of the Global Center for Combating Extremist Ideology. Trump is very pro-life. He advocates for the prohibition of late-term abortion, of children who can feel pain in the mother's womb. He said Planned Parenthood should be absolutely defunded. And he has also said before that a friend of mine's wife was pregnant and he didn't want the baby. He ends up having the baby, and it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to him. And I heard this and some other stories. I am pro-life. For Trump's plans for health care, he wants to repeal the Affordable Care Act. He plans to replace ACA with a free market plan. He wants to maintain Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, and he believes in private health plans.
The Democratic candidate for the 2020 presidential election is Joe Biden. Immigration has been one of the most controversial topics in politics for some time now. Biden is pro-immigration. He believes that immigrants help the economy grow and create more jobs. He also supports international students, saying that they bring innovation to our country. He wants to reverse many of Trump's immigration policies and put his own policies in place. And he believes that even those who crossed illegally should still have a path to citizenship. Another important topic is climate change. Biden's plan is called the Great New Deal. The Great New Deal states that the United States urgently needs to embrace greater ambition on an epic scale to meet the scope of this challenge, and our environment and our economy are totally and completely connected. He wants to ensure the U.S. achieves a 100% clean energy economy and reaches net zero emissions no later than 2050. To do this, he wants to establish an enforcement mechanism that includes milestone targets no later than the end of his first term in 2025. He also wants to make a historic investment in clean energy and climate research and innovation. Finally, he wants to incentivize the rapid deployment of clean energy innovations across the economy, especially in communities most impacted by climate change. Another very controversial issue is gun control. Biden proposes to force owners of assault-style rifles to either sell their firearms through a voluntary buyback program or register them with the federal government. His plan aims to tackle urban gun violence with an 8-year, $900 million program that would go toward efforts to combat shootings in 40 cities with the highest rates of gun violence. He also hopes to eliminate legal protections that prevent gun manufacturers from being held liable for how their products are used. And finally, he hopes to close loopholes in background checks before gun purchases, ban the sale of assault-style rifles and high-capacity magazines, and allow states to implement red gun laws. Biden hasn't touched on foreign policy too much, But he has said that the first thing he would like to do is recommit the U.S. to the Paris Climate Agreement. Another major thing is he would like to immediately restore our relationship with the World Health Organization. Finally, he hopes to head a global coalition to find a vaccine and other remedies for the disease. He states, "It is essential to coordinating the global response during a pandemic, and the United States should be leading that response as we had in the past. We should be leading a coordinated global approach on the science, not disregarding experts while pushing dangerous and disapproved drugs as if they are treatments." The final controversial issue is healthcare. Biden hopes to build on the Affordable Care Act by giving Americans more choice, reducing healthcare costs, and making our healthcare system less complex to navigate. He believes that every American has a right to the peace of mind that comes with knowing they have access to affordable, quality healthcare. And finally, he hopes to increase the value of tax credits to lower premiums and extend coverage to more working Americans.